Hello, I'm Travis Luther, president of Lawfather, and welcome to Lawfather Legal News. Being accused of a crime can have devastating and permanent consequences for your future. Having a criminal record can make it hard to find employment, participate in government programs, maintain custody of your children, and even find housing. If you have been charged with a crime, it is important to know if the crime is classified as a felony or a misdemeanor. Each of these classifications comes with its own set of legal consequences. With Veterans Day this month, here to explain the difference between these two charges is Colorado criminal defense attorney and U.S. Army veteran Michael Carter of Carter Boyle, LLC. Good afternoon, Mr. Carter. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me, Travis.
Is there anything right off the bat that distinguishes a felony from a misdemeanor?
Well, what you're going to want to know and what you're going to need to know is that the level of incarceration is relative to the misdemeanor or felony. With the felony, you're looking at, for an F6, which is the lowest, you're looking at between 12 and 18 months in the Department of Corrections with a level of parole. With a misdemeanor, and in the state of Colorado, there are three classifications of misdemeanors, 1, 2, and 3. 3 being the lowest and M1 being the highest. On an M1, you're looking at between 12 and 24 months in a county jail, whereas on an M3, you're looking at between 0 to 6 months in a county jail. Now, those are going to be the biggest difference. With a felony, you're looking at incarceration in the Department of Corrections. With misdemeanor, you're looking at incarceration in a county jail.
And can you give us some examples of misdemeanor case types?
Absolutely. Your misdemeanors are going to be your third-degree assaults. Third-degree assault is there's no serious bodily injury. You hit me, I felt pain. That's going to be an M1, the highest level. And so you're going to be looking at the 12 to 24 months. You're also going to be looking at the harassment. A harassment charge would include what you would think a harassment is. Striking someone, shoving someone, kicking someone. That would be harassment. And then what most people in Denver would, of course, know and understand would be a petty possession charge. That's going to bring in M1. If you have a small amount of marijuana, it's going to be an M1.
Okay. And give us some examples of felony charges.
The felony charges are going to be, to put it easy, your law and order charges. You're looking at your burglary, your arson, kidnapping, sex assaults, and murders. And depending on what level of offense, you could do between, as I stated before, the 12 to 18 months, which is Department of Correction time on an F6, up to the death penalty for an F1 here in the state of Colorado. The only charges here in the state of Colorado that would include the death penalty are going to be murder for hires, kidnapping resulting in death, and murder without deliberation.
Okay. I know there's been a lot of recent legislation over the last 10 years with regard to three-strike laws, and I know that these laws vary from state to state. Where is Colorado with regard to three-strike laws? Well, first help our viewers understand what does three strikes mean, and where does Colorado sit there?
Here in the state of Colorado, we have something called a habitual offense. If you are convicted of 2 prior felonies, the third felony, they can charge you as a habitual criminal. And what the habitual statute does, it's a multiplier for the crime that you're being charged with now. If you are a habitual criminal and you are being charged with an F5, instead of being 1 to 3, you're now looking at 4 to 20. Once you get to your F1s, your life imprisonments and your death penalty, it really doesn't matter. But you could go from what you feel is a small F6, F5 charge, looking at a significant amount of time if you were to lose at trial.
When do you think a person charged with a crime needs to get in touch with an attorney?
If you are facing any crime, I think the first thing you need to do is to contact an attorney. You have rights, and those rights need to be protected. And the first thing you need to do is assess where you are in the process. And if you can't do that, you need to go out and you need to find yourself an attorney,
Mm-hmm.
because you got to take care of yourself and you have to protect yourself.
So before statements to police, when does someone decide to make their call?
If the police are knocking at your door, you need to be making that phone call.
Okay.
You need to understand that the police, their job is to get evidence to convict you.
Mm-hmm.
And you are going to be one of the largest, you yourself
Mm-hmm.
are going to give them the most amount of evidence that they'll ever need if you start talking to them.
So if they come to your door and they just want to question you about a crime, but you haven't actually been accused of it, is that also a good time to maybe reach out to an attorney?
Absolutely. You never know.
Okay.
You never know. And like I said before, what you need to do is protect yourself.
Okay.
And that's what we're here for.
Okay. Mr. Carter, I know your offices are in Cherry Creek. With regard to felony and misdemeanors, do you offer free consultations?
On the felony and misdemeanors, we will do the 30-minute free consultation. Come in, sit down, and what I need from you is you need to bring in any and all paperwork that you have been given by law enforcement, district attorney, or the court system. Bring that in. We'll sit down. We'll go over it, and I can give you a fair assessment of where you're at in your case.
Okay. All right. Well, if you've been charged with a crime in Colorado, I would encourage you to contact Michael Carter immediately at 303-501-1825, or you can visit him online at carterboyle.com. Thanks again, Michael, for coming out and joining us. If you have a legal question in Colorado, you can visit our attorneys online at www.lawfather.com or call our toll-free confidential law line at 855-LAW-5280. Again, that's 855-LAW-5280. Mr. Carter, thank you.
Thank you for having me, Travis.